How often do you drive down a street and see a beautiful house and wonder, what does it look like inside? You want inspiration, and we're bringing you heaps. In this series, we showcase a variety of houses: sprawling mansions, elegant townhouses, compact city apartments. We explore these creations and talk to the visionaries who brought them to life, as well as the people who live in them. It's all about sharing with you how they put it all together. I'll also be showing you how to get the look in your own home with decor advice and tips. I'm Juliet Newell, and this is Finest Homes. To kick off the series, we thought it appropriate to showcase a typically South African home: the architecture, the decor, the landscaping, all epitomise what's hot and happening in SA design. This home is in Waterfall Estate, owned by one of the property developers, Rob Emmett, and his wife Concelia. It's a prime spot with magnificent views. When they first acquired this piece of land, they knew exactly what they wanted to do with it.
Really what we wanted to do, what Concelia wanted to do, was have a north-facing kitchen and a sort of walk out into the garden area, and as minimalistic as possible. No more heavy curtains and that sort of thing. And this is really what we've got, and it's perfect for entertaining.
And open plan, easy living. Kitchen all in one space so that I can be part of the conversation.
It's modern living at its best. Large open plan areas with lots of glass doors that open up the house to seemingly endless views. This masterpiece was the combined vision of the owners and architect Luke Zegers. Luke, you were involved from word go. It was a Saturday morning. Rob and Concelia phoned you and said, come and look at this piece of land and work your magic. What was your initial reaction to the piece of land?
Yeah, it was a great challenge. The stand is triangular and there's beautiful views, which you will see. And they wanted, it's quite a nice special brief, single-story house. Within the architectural guidelines, we're trying to do something different, benefiting from the views and the indoor-outdoor relationship.
I knew more or less what I wanted, and I think Concelia and Luke put it on a piece of paper, drew it and built it.
The first drawing that we saw of Luke's was just perfect. We knew straight away that the house suited us.
So the house is north-facing, as it should
Yes,
be.
yes.
So the sun would rise there in the east, it would set in the west, and now I'm looking there and I'm thinking, this house is all glass. Doesn't it get really hot?
Not at all. We introduced horizontal planes to prevent the west sun coming in. So we have a big covered patio, we've got cantilevered roofs that all prevent the harsh west sun too.
And then on the patio where the braai is, you've actually built a column, if you like.
It's a big chimney.
A big chimney.
Yes.
And that's also
To hide the west sun.
to keep it from
To
coming
keep the
in.
west sun out, yes.
Well, let's take a look around.
Okay.
What's really special about this house is the open plan spaces. You've got the kitchen, the dining area, the TV room, another relaxed area here, and then the patio. And with these glass doors that just open, slide back, outdoors is indoors, indoors is outdoors.
It's really a functional approach and opening everything up towards the north sun, the view, and how a house functions, and rather than looking at how the house looks like. Yeah, obviously every building we do needs to fit properly on a site, and I think that's one of the main tasks of an architect is find the correct solution for the site.
I think also architects and homeowners are taking into consideration their surroundings. We live in Africa. We have some of the greatest views in the world.
And climate.
And climate.
Yes.
So why not harness all of that in your space?
If you look at this spot here, in summer, there's sun here in the lounge. In summer, there is no sun in the space. Because of the angle of the sun.
And the sun is a lot higher.
The sun is higher in summer.
So in winter, this will just be flooded with sunlight.
Correct, yes.
And
Whereas
keep
in
it nice
summer
and warm.
There's no.
You know, when you stand up here and you look, you realize that Gauteng isn't as flat as one would imagine it to be.
No, Gauteng's actually very hilly.
Yeah.
Yes.
That must be great fun for an architect to work with spaces and views.
It gives you views, it also gives you challenges, like how do you counteract the slope and how do you introduce steps in a house and how do you deal with the changes in levels.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, but you love it, don't you?
Yes, we do.
When you look at the house from this angle, you can actually see the three, what do you call them?
Wings.
The three wings and the views
Yes.
that they would all have.
That's right, yeah. And you can also see that it was designed on a triangle.
Yes, you can. If you had to draw a line,
That's
actually
it.
to the end of the pool, you'd see the triangle design.
That's
so
correct,
that works with the piece of land.
Correct, yes.
But there are no fences here, so it looks like all of this is their land.
Yes,
It's so
correct,
clever.
yeah.
I want to look around the side here. But the kids playing there, the school, that's just so divine. Coming up, we take a walk through the home to look at the decor. And we take in spectacular views from the garden. In this episode, we're showing you a home that blends with its surroundings. It's all about the views. The architecture is understated, and the decor is no different. You know, when we talk about decorating a home, you think about curtains and drapery and lots of scatter cushions, but there's none of that here.
Absolutely, we've kept it as uncomplicated as possible, and the only place that we've put curtains is in the bedrooms. So let's have a look at the main suite.
Super. I see what you mean here. You've just got the curtains there, but it's not heavy drapery, it's very simple.
Very light, and the tones are all neutral and very tranquil. And we've just brought in pops of colour here and there, for instance in the headboard, which looks like an abstract painting.
Yes, but still quite natural.
But very natural and calming tones.
And the one special piece that I love about this room is that.
Oh, that's an old piece, which is very dear to my heart. I love to mix the old and new. And so we've brought in one or two pieces, and the modern architecture makes those pieces stand out.
Yes, and they're classic pieces
They are classic,
as well.
absolutely.
Then you've got that Chinese cabinet in the entrance.
Also something
Yes.
that we love, and also it brings a lovely burst of colour into that room, which is otherwise very neutral.
And I suppose the less clutter, there's none here, the less maintenance.
And the more things, an individual piece stands out.
And I think this home is all about that view.
And feeling part of that garden.
Yes.
That you can step out from every room.
In this space, you've got more traditional furniture, and I suppose it's furniture you had in your old home that you brought into the space.
We brought it along with us, and Rob likes this tranquil space, and he's in touch with the garden still, but he has more classic furniture, and he also has access to the outside through the open sliding doors, but he's not in the heart of the home.
Yes, quite separated.
Quite separated,
Yeah. And right next
quiet.
to his herb and veggie garden. So he can just
Which is
check
so
out.
important to him.
It
He
is.
can just pop out and pick a couple of tomatoes.
There we go.
Exactly.
And say, here we go. This is our dinner. Cook something
Exactly,
special.
that's what he loves.
Love this space. And then lastly, we have the guest bedroom.
The guest bedroom.
again, in this bedroom, not complicated at all. Very clean lines, very simple.
Just a pop of colour with the headboard. Yes, immediately I saw that fabric. It reminded me of a Monet painting.
It does.
And I thought that'll take the place of an artwork.
For sure, you don't need art. You don't need anything.
You don't need anything with it.
The art's outside.
Exactly.
The view. And then the curtains, you've been quite clever. I saw that you did the same in the main bedroom. You've got a sheer in the front, and then you've got the block outlining behind.
In case one wants privacy during the day or to take an afternoon nap without making the room dark, lovely to have the sheer, but when it's completely open, then it feels as if you're in the garden again.
And then if you want complete darkness,
at night time, you close the
blockouts.
blockouts.
Wonderful. Very clever. Do you remember in the olden days they had it the other way around?
They had it the other way around. Everybody had voiles
Foils and net
to block out the views.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you believe we were so silly? The garden is indigenous, the work of landscaper Neil Puntis, who has cleverly designed the area so it flows seamlessly into the borrowed landscape. And this is probably my favorite part of the garden. It's an outcrop of trees. I don't know how else to describe it.
This is a cluster of high-felt indigenous trees, and they look older than the landscape actually is.
How did you get that right?
Rob had the foresight to plant them 2 years ahead of the building process. So it gave him, almost 2 years of growth before he moved in. In nature, you generally get a high-density cluster of the indigenous trees, so it does mimic that, but it does screen from the road and give you a nice shaded area where you can have a nice secret bench to sit under.
That. I love it.
Yeah, in high summer as well, you can sit and have lunch there.
And then this area here I love because this is where you've introduced those little bits of colour.
Yes, a combination of the indigenous ground covers and perennials, and they all flower at different times of the year, so you've always got a splash of colour throughout the year. And because there's no boundary fence to the property, it allows us to have a transition area where we can bring in the indigenous felt grasses from the green belt into the garden, so there's no definite end to the property.
So that's what you've done around the dam.
We've used the indigenous felt grasses to stabilise the banks of the dam, as well as create habitat for the birds. The water feature was designed and we constructed it as the main focal point in the garden. You can see how it divides the garden, but it doesn't take away from the functional space. Another reason we positioned it where it is that there's a dam down in the green belt. So we created a central theme of water through the property, and it allows your eye to just skip through and end up down at the bottom dam, creating a much bigger garden than you have. We obviously made this dam using a dam liner.
It looks quite natural though, I must say. Hey?
We harvested a lot of the natural rock off the property and we used it to cover the plastic liner. But we were fortunate to have this beautiful granite boulder, which we didn't cover over. We actually accentuated it and ran the water down it. So it almost looks like a natural stream coming out from under the house.
Well, you've really worked with what you had here to make it look natural. Well, I suppose that's where the design element comes into it. Working with what you have, bringing in new, yet making it look natural.
That's correct, yeah. Especially in an indigenous landscape, you want it to look landscaped, but not forced.
Yes.
And I think that's the key with working with a natural rock, for example, and creating water that is at the lowest point of the landscape, and it doesn't look like it's perched in an unnatural position.
Yeah, it actually does make sense, hey? It really does. And I think the part that really impresses me most is that not only have you fooled the human eye, you fool the animals as well, because all the birds are here.
It is. It's a haven for the birds and the animals that naturally occur on the estate. And it's amazing to see or hear what Rob sees on a daily basis.
I'll tell you what, it's almost time for sunset. Coming up, we take a look at specific rooms and show you how to get the look. In this episode, we're showcasing a beautiful home in Waterfall Estate. The understated architecture complements the natural surroundings. The decor also takes its cue from the colours and textures outside. The decor in this home is clean, no clutter, simple. The patio and bedrooms, however, are the perfect spaces to have some fun with fabrics. This patio is mostly in natural colours, but I thought it would be a good idea to use the colours from the garden as the inspiration for this look.
So I've chosen 3 really bold colours and I'm going to show you how to work them together. So here they are. We have a lime green, we have an orange, and we have a lovely pink. Why did I choose these colours? Well, I took the inspiration from the garden. If you look at all the plants, you've got the greens, you've got a lot of the oranges, and then you've got the pinks as well. So let's pop those down there, and you can see them against the neutral seat cushions. And then this is how you bring it all together. You find a piece of fabric that incorporates the colours. And for those of you who know your plants and know your gardening, this is a delicious monster. And you've got it in the pink, which I love. And then you've also got it in this gorgeous green as well. So you can choose where you want to go with it. If the pink's a little bit too much for you, go with the green. So let's pop the green down on the table. Look how beautifully that's starting to come together. So you've got your neutral, you've got your giant pattern, and these would be your scatter cushions. Let's put out the pink as well, just for fun. And then the good old stripe. There we go. The way I see it, if you can't have fun on the patio, where else can you have fun?
The guest bedroom coloration is drawn from the plants around the room, but the big star of the show is the Monet painting-inspired headboard. And there are heaps of watercolour design fabrics on the market to get this look and feel.
So I found this fabric book and I love these gorgeous, gorgeous designs. Take a look at this. You could literally choose any one of these and put it up on the headboard. I like this one. That's my absolute favorite. And I think the colors would work very well. Quite a soothing combination because you've got your blues and greens and they're very calming. What would we do with this? Well, this could be the headboard. Always add white to let the colors breathe. So there's the white. It could be scatter cushions, it could be crisp white linen, but just to show you how to pull it all together, let's pick up that blue. There we go. You want to add a bit of green? Can do that too. So essentially what you're doing is taking your lead from the main fabric. You're picking up all these colors there and you're picking them out in the planes. What about the windows? Well, a sheer will do the trick, and in this case, definitely go for a white. Nothing else is required in this room. You've got the main headboard in the lovely fabric. You've got the plain fabrics for the scatter cushions, maybe a night frill around the bed. And remember, those frilly night frills don't look great anymore. What we're doing is more of a boxed night frill. I don't even like the word night frill. We upholster the base. So maybe you don't like the green and the blue. I'm going to choose another fabric from this book because I love it so much. How about something like that? What do we do with that? We pick up the colors that are in this already. So we've got this lovely red, we've got a bit of turquoise, we've got charcoals, and you've got the neutral colors here. There's no white there. We've got a bit of cream. Got a bit of turquoise over there. Let's pick up a lovely red. Let's see if this book has got a nice red. That's a bit burnt. Not loving that red. I did see a very soft yellow there. That could work. We still need that red. I quite like the dark red. Picking out the dark red over there, just to give it a little bit of depth and a little bit of gravitas.
The master suite colours are soft and restful, buttery yellows with greys and charcoals.
So I found this fabric that could be for the headboard as your main fabric, And remember what I said, go for your main pattern first and then build around that. So this is what we're going to have as the main headboard fabric. And in this fabric book, I found something else that I absolutely love. Look at that. Soft, gentle. So we can use those together. We'll have the headboard in that with white cushions between the headboard and that one. I love a little bit of leather. So you could have the base of the bed upholstered in a charcoal leather, charcoaly grey, because you can see there's grey in this fabric as well. If you don't like the leather, good old fabric. And there it is. Simple as that, really.
Next week, we show you a swish apartment in the heart of Sandton. Bright, bold colours. A terrace you'll envy. And luxurious bedrooms.